Welcome to Tropes and Tantrums. I'm Amber.
And I'm Danielle. We are just two moms, never without our kids or our Kindles.
Welcome back to Tropes and Tantrums. It's time to wrap up our January. Oof, that was rough. Wrap up our January. Why does that sound weird?
Wrap up. Welcome to the January Wrapisode.
Yeah, for the month of January.
We've literally been talking for an hour. So if you're just joining us, there's a whole episode in which we never got to talk about books the whole time. Which is fine. I mean,
it's okay.
It was great. It was a great episode.
We're thriving.
Yep.
Words are hard. Oh my gosh.
We've been out of the game for a minute, clearly. Embarrassing. Okay.
You ready to wrap up our books?
Let's wrap them up.
We hope you had a great reading month, whether you read one book or 15 to 20 plus, but I don't care how many you read. You read a book, good, congratulations. You're a winner.
You're here.
And we hope that you walk away from this episode with book recommendations.
We do. Or books not to read also.
Or
like books to take off your TBR.
Yeah, there you go.
Like maybe you have a better opinion than we have, but
you know, who knows?
We're cool.
Do you want to start?
Sure. So I read 12 books for the month of January.
Insane. Good job.
If you know me, there's a reason why I try to pad some of my months with more books because I know there's inevitable slumps coming. There always is for me. And so if I pad certain months where I know I'm getting a lot of reading done, then I feel a lot better in the months where I get like 5 books, which is still a lot of books, but it's totally fine. So like I said, I read 12 books for the month of January. I had 4 5 stars, I think. It was actually a pretty solid month. I think I averaged at like 4.4 stars for the month. Which we love to see in January because it was a long month, but we did want to knock out some books. So my favorite book for the month of January was Julie Soto's Forget Me Not, which had been on my TBR for a hot minute. Basically, it's about a wedding planner and a florist it's a second chance romance, and they basically have to work together on this wedding. But then you're getting the present chapters from her POV and you're getting the past chapters from his POV, which I really loved. And then obviously they converge at the end because you're trying to figure out why they like split up through his POV. But then you're also seeing them like basically as enemies to lovers in the present POV, which I loved. It was a great time. It was a great read. So if that's been on your TBR, absolutely recommend. I also, like I said, I had 3 other 5 stars for the month. One of them was The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah, which was also on my TBR.
My mother-in-law read that, and she said it was amazing. I have her copy. She was like, "Here, read it."
It was I can't wait to read it. So good. Kept me interested the whole book, which sometimes, so like, I love historical romances in the TJR world, minus Malibu Rising. If you know, you know.
Ugh, terrible.
But book. I'm not a historical romance girly. They just don't. I don't know. They're just not my vibe most of the time. Mm-hmm. But I had heard amazing things that most people consider The Nightingale one of their most favorite books of all time. Absolutely loved it. Totally understand why. It feels very daunting because it's a very thick book. I have it like it's the second book. It's very thick. Flew through it. It was so good. And you get dual POV, past and present. It just has all the things. It was so good. Like I said, easy 5-star read for me. Then the other 2 books that were my other 5-star is because I ventured into Throne of Glass. So if you know, I'm on my Sarah J. Maas journey. Started with ACOTAR because everybody on planet Earth says you're supposed to start with ACOTAR if you're jumping into the Sarah J. Maas universe.
Yeah.
ACOTAR is currently 5 books. It's an unfinished series that you don't know when the next book's coming out. So it's like kind of like whatever at this point. Do not recommend starting with ACOTAR. I don't. I will be the one to tell you otherwise. And it's funny because a lot of the people I've talked to who are on their Sarah J. Maas journeys as well that I've met through Bookstagram or Book Talk or whatever, we're all very disillusioned. And I don't, because everybody says to start with ACOTAR because ACOTAR is amazing and like it'll change your whole life. And then we all are now reading Throne of Glass and we're like,
you had a very opposite reaction to, like, you wish you would have started with Throne of Glass.
Well, that was what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Is most people are like, I love Throne of Glass so much more than ACOTAR. And that's what most people are saying. And I'm like, why are we perpetuating this myth that we need to start with ACOTAR because we can't understand fantasy? When literally Sarah J. Maas wrote Throne of Glass at 16 years old. So, like, if you can't understand a 16-year-old perspective of a book, I'm, like, really questioning whether fantasy is even right for you, because I did not find it hard to understand at all. I really didn't. The hardest part to understand is this elusive reading order that everybody talks about.
I think she just made a...
No, she did.
Okay.
She did, because I'm about to touch on that, about why people... No, you're good. Because people are like, oh, you're supposed to read book 3 here and book... Literally... I'm so glad she came out and said this is how it's supposed to be read. She published it in the order that it was supposed to be read. And everyone will say, because there's a novella, this Assassin's Blade, it's one of the ones in there. It's 5 novellas that are the prequel to Throne of Glass, which is the first book. She published it 3rd. People think that you need to read it because it is the prequel first, for like the highest emotional impact, because there's things that she alludes to in the other books. I am here to tell you they are wrong. And here's the thing, fight me on it, I don't care. She literally came out and said, this is the way to read it. You read Assassin's Blade, you read Crown of Midnights, and then you read the Assassin's Blade. Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnights, Assassin's Blade. And then you read Heir of Fire, which is where I'm at right now. Read it in publishing order, because that's what she's telling you to do. If the author is telling you to read it one way and some Joe Schmo on TikTok is telling you to read it another way, that's great. You want to listen to Joe Schmoes on TikTok? Perfect. They have a lot of great information sometimes. I am telling you, I did not read it a different way, but everyone else that I've, talked to who has read it the way that I've read it, they love it and they think it's great. But then there's the people who say, well, if I wouldn't have read Assassin's Blade, I don't feel like I would have gotten into the story. False. Throne of Glass is so good standalone. I think I rated it 4.5 stars. And I keep saying I'm not a fantasy girl. I am now a fantasy girl. So I need to stop saying that. In 2024, I can't say it anymore because I've now read like more than half of Sarah J. Maas's books at this point. But Throne of Glass was so good. And it was such a good introduction to her as a character that I fell in love with. I will die on the hill that she is so much better than Feyre as a female main character. Because I thought Feyre was really whiny and annoying for pretty much the majority of the ACOTAR series. I have not read the 5th book because it's just really daunting, and I just really have no desire at this point to read a book that people are kind of meh about. And it's the spiciest of the 5 ACOTAR books. But I'm not reading ACOTAR for spice. It's just if I'm going to read a book for spice, it's not going to be in the ACOTAR series. I'm sorry if that's you. I don't spice with fairies. It's cool. If that's your vibe, that's totally your vibe. This is those are the books for you. But if I'm going to read spice, I want it to be with real people. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm on some different level of if I'm going to read spice, I want it to be real. But I really enjoyed Throne of Glass, and I rated Crown of Midnights and Assassin's Blade both 5 stars. Really solid. I'm enjoying the series. I'm currently in what is the 3rd. Is it the 3rd book, 4th book? I don't know. Because technically they rank Assassin's Blade as 0.5 because it's the prequel. Yeah. But I'm reading the 4th Throne of Glass book that I'm currently reading, which is Heir of Fire. Is it the most complex that I've read so far? Yes, but it's because you're now moving out of the world that you've known for for now 2 books into another world, and you're meeting more characters. So there's world building. You're in fantasy. That's what you have to come to expect in fantasy, is that there's just world building. And is it complicated? Yes, but is it like that complicated? No, and it's much easier to read than A Court of Wings and Ruin, which took me like 3 months to get through because it's just so thick and heavy. And I'm really feeling the heavy FOMO right now because everyone's reading Crescent City.
I have a friend who's finished it already.
And Kristin's reading it right now.
Kristin's reading it. I have a friend that's already finished it.
I am feeling the FOMO because I have not read any of the Crescent City because I was told that I could not read Crescent City until I finished the other books because of this. I don't even know what to call it. Like the way the fantasy girlies, I don't even say the fantasy girl. The Sarah J. Maas girlies are such bullies online in making you feel like you can't enjoy these books because you have to read them a certain way. And it's like,
just read.
We not?
Just read
Can
them.
we not make reading like this like super exclusive like way to like live your life? No, just read the freaking books. I did see that if you're going to read the 3rd Crescent City book, obviously you want to read the first 2, but the 3rd one you really want to have read the other Sarah J. Maas books because there are different Easter eggs and things that you wouldn't understand in the 3rd book. So I'm keeping on my Throne of Glass journey. My goal to finishing Throne of Glass is by March. That's my goal. I'm like I said, I'm on the technical 4th book of the series, but I do plan on the tandem read. That is the goal. Amber sent me a TikTok where someone already organized it on your Kindle into the way that it's supposed to be read, which is a godsend. So if you're in that journey, please message and I will send you the video as well so that you can feel that way. It's like, so overall, January was a really solid reading month. Like I said, really trying to knock out the Throne of Glass series. And that's kind of just the goal. I'm sprinkling in other books to kind of surround because it's still a lot of information. It's still fantasy. It's still a lot. Here's the thing. Romance is absolutely 150,000% a subplot in Throne of Glass. So if you're going to Throne of Glass like looking for like some like heavy romance and spice, you're not getting it.
She was 16. Come on, guys.
She was 16, y'all. And yeah, I mean, she looks very, like, I was like, how old is she? She looks very young in all these interviews that she's been doing. But yeah, so that's where I'm at in my journey. Completely different than Amber's. So you're just getting a lot of perspectives on different books here, which is really lovely. So I am hoping to hit Crescent City by April. That is my goal. Could be earlier if I decide to get my like butt in gear and just knock them out. But it's a lot of information to just process because it's not like, oh, I'm just like reading like fluffy rom-coms that I can like just like binge in like 2 days. It's like, it's actually, I have to like actually think about the things because her whole book, and like I should be really good at Easter eggs at this point because as a Taylor fan, one looks for clues in literally everything. But yeah, so here's hoping for another solid month in February. I'm already at, I don't know, 7 books. 8 books.
Well, you're reading those novellas.
Well, I already finished the novellas. We'll discuss those at the end. We're going to because it is February and I do want you, if you would like to read them, for me to give you a solid. We'll do that because you're gonna want to. Okay.
All right. So I read 9 books. DNF'd 1.
DNF'd 1 that caused me to never pick it up.
Yeah, we'll get into that one.
That'll be next episode. We'll get into
it. So that was 9 books, 5 arcs, 1 DNF. So I have 9 books out of 130 so far for 2024. And my average rating was 4.2 stars.
Also, I think we're missing one of the books on your on Instagram. Yeah, I was looking. I was like,
no, I don't think you are. You misnumbered.
No, I didn't misnumber. I went and counted. Well, we're gonna revisit it because also, just so you know, if you're following along on Instagram or if you're not, we're at Tropes and Tantrum on Instagram, so you should follow us because
and follow us on YouTube since you're watching.
Yes, we're keeping in real time the books that we're actually reading so that you do not have to wait until the end of the month. We really love when you get to hear all of our unfiltered thoughts, but you're getting to see them in real time, like what we're reading books and what we're reading and all the things. So follow us, please.
Okay, so obviously my favorite book, one of my favorite books was Rubies by Mandy.
Oh,
Muse,
yes.
because I did read that. Because last time we were here,
She had just opened the dedication.
And I was already in tears. So we'll talk about Rubies in our arc segment because it was an arc, but it was one of my reads, my favorites. I actually had a lot of, I actually enjoyed all of my books this month, except for the one, obviously, I DNF'd. And then one of the biggest letdowns this month was The Predator by Runex.
Which you really wanted to love.
I truly wanted to love. So this book was picked for book club. And
for you.
It was the girl who was picking the books she's also a dark romance reader.
Oh, okay.
So she picked the books, then we all voted.
Okay.
But I had high expectations.
Mm-hmm.
It was a letdown.
Yeah.
We talked about it in book club, whatever. There's a few girls that have already read book 2, and they're like, well, if you want to know what happens, I would read it. And I was like,
not right
is
now.
it the same way, all of it? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, I'll think about it. That's kind of where I'm still at with it, is I'll think about it.
And it's a not right now kind of thing.
Yeah, it could get there.
Yeah.
You never know. I want to talk about Sticks and Stones. This was another book club read. I have not so Sticks and Stones by S. Massery and S.J. Sylvis. It's a college hockey romance, and it's very dark. Obviously. Oh, I wouldn't say very dark, but it is dark.
Also, how would obviously?
What do you mean?
How would, you're like, oh, well, obviously, it's very dark. But, how would someone know just based on the title? I mean, if you looked at the cover, it's very dark.
If you read the synopsis, or the authors. Yeah. So these were 2 new authors to me. They co-wrote the book. One of them does write, dark romance.
Well, when there's only an initial, I know it's dark. So I don't ever question when it's an initial what kind of book it's going to be. It's not for me. But that's okay.
But I will say that I have not fallen in love with a college hockey romance
since Briar.
Since Off Campus. And
Briar's not dark. Just
no. If you read Elle Kennedy, it's not dark. But I have there's just something about this it took me in Off Campus did. And I was just yeah, I need more of this. And the next book comes out in 2020 this year. So
I thought you were going to say 2025. I was like,
no, this year. So we're I'm very excited about it. Because obviously I read professional hockey romances and stuff like that, and those are great. But there's something about this college that I just I'm really enjoying. But then there was also a motorcycle club book that I really loved, A Love Like Venom by Analee Giancoala. I read this as an arc. I gave it 5 stars. Check your trigger warnings for that one too. But I'll get more into that for the arc segment. But those are some of my favorites that I read this month. And then the book I DNF'd was, unfortunately, it was Ricochet by
Krista and Becca Ritchie.
Yeah. Which it's very unfortunate for me, and we'll get into it in the recap because I'm gonna talk about it a little bit. But that was an unfortunate DNF for me. But I'm just gonna jump into the arc segment. Do you have any arcs?
No, but what I was going to say is, speaking of books that suck, Swear on This Life by Renee Carlino. I forgot that it was in January because I really have mentally blocked it out because it was one of the most whiplash-inducing books of my entire existence on planet Earth. Is that stupid book that I was giving you the voice memo updates? If it has been on your TBR, because everybody tells you it's beautiful and all these things, it is not. It is absolutely insane. I don't know who is. All these people are oh my god, it's the best, one of the best romance ever. No, I don't know what they were reading.
No, it's clicking in my brain.
It's like you're remembering, because it's honestly, January was such a long month, and I read it literally the first week of January. It's literally I had to pick up another book like this, because I was like, I cannot let this book slump me, because this does not deserve that. It was an absolute shit show of a book, and I don't know why. I've had it on my TBR, physical copy,
TBR, yeah, since
December of 2022. Yes. December of 2022 or December of 2021. I've had this book on a physical TBR. Literally bought it when we were in Flagstaff on a trip. And I was like, oh my God, everybody raves about this author and they all say this book is amazing. No, they're lying. I'm telling you the absolute God's honest truth. Do not waste your time, because I read another Renee Carlino book last year, which was Before We Were Strangers, which also is highly raved about. Also very mediocre book. So I just think that her style is not for me. I think that there's just a lot of things. I just need to...
Well, even I didn't read the book, but even like the voice memos that you were sending to me. Also, I have a comment about this too. It was very whiplash. And like you weren't even like, you were just like, this is what's happening. You would give me a little bit of the plot and I'd be like, wait, what?
It could have been...
And I would be like, I just had a whiplash. What are you talking about?
It could have been 3 books. Like, literally. And it was just... The whole plot of the book was just really chaotic. And like I said, I read her...
It just wasn't for you.
And also, I think she writes characters that I don't like. Because in Before We Were Strangers, which I read last year, everyone raves about it. They all say it's amazing. And I couldn't stand the characters. I couldn't stand them as people. I thought there was no character development whatsoever.
Which is important to you.
Which is really important, because I'm a character girly. I would, and this is a bold statement, I would take a character-driven book with a shitty plot any day of the week. And that is why, and again, this is very bold, I love Magnolia Parks till I die. Magnolia Parks is... It's all character. The plot is basically like it doesn't. It's like not that it doesn't exist, because obviously the plot moves the Magnolia Park series along.
Yeah,
but it is definitely secondary to the characters themselves, and you have to love the characters to love Magnolia Parks. And I think that's why it's such a hit or miss for people, is because people are not like super attached to these characters. Like I would die for it's just amazing. I don't know how I'm going to survive when the 5th book comes out, because it's the literal last book that she's writing about the 2
and that's
main characters.
Month.
That's very soon. And I'm still tagging her like crazy. I'm like, can you please just send me an arc? I see all these people with arcs. Please send me. Like, I will die for this arc. And even though literally it comes out in 2 weeks, but like of course it's a week of competition too, so like mentally I'm gonna just be like,
you're a mess.
I'm gonna all over the place. But like I said, this book sucked, and I hate saying that about books, but genuinely, like, it's just like, it just wasn't for me. And maybe it'll be for you, but it probably won't be, because I gave Amber the synopsis, and there's not a chance that she or anyone in my book club would read this book, because it was so insane. No.
But my comment about our voice notes, I don't know about you, but when I get a notification that I have a voice note from you, I get cozy.
No, literally.
I get cozy.
I can't listen, like, unless, like, I have to be fully ready for it.
I'm like, if I see it, I'm in the middle of an email, or I'm in the middle of doing this, or
there's kids.
I'm like, oh, this gotta wait, because it's gonna be good. It's gotta wait.
Let me just tell you,
I get cozy. I lock in.
I am a voice memo girl till I die.
You've created me one.
And I don't think, and here's the thing, I've done that to so many people, because they just, like, nobody understands like the power of a great voice memo, especially one for me, because they're like literally the most chaotic
I have a question
things.
For you. Do you ever like go to like do your voice note and you like mess up, or your brain's moving faster than your mouth, and you go, screw it, they'll understand?
Yeah, always. There's some that I restart, but you wouldn't know that I restart.
No.
But there's some that I do restart. Thank God for the unsend feature at this point, because sometimes I like go to send, I'm like, oh my God, that was like
unhinged.
Here's the thing, I do have a limit though, because I cannot send them more than like 2 minutes is kind of like my max. If it's going over 2 minutes, then I have to send another one.
Or just a call.
Or I'm going to call. Yeah. Because I've seen people who send like 5, 6 minutes. And I'm like, not because then I'm gonna have to start taking notes in how I'm gonna reply. And I feel like everything has to be on this like a very similar topic or like in the same story vein than because you can't jump around a lot in a voice memo because it just gets too much. And like you said, then it's time for a call and we gotta cover all the topic.
And for us, and then it's our kids jumping in. Oh, who are you talking to?
Yeah, and it's like no one's there.
Because we don't make phone calls, we FaceTime.
We only FaceTime, and then it becomes group FaceTimes
because then the kids have to see the kids.
Where are the kids? And then you have to walk around the house. You got to find them, or you got to call them. It's like
a whole thing.
It's a lot. So Amber and I try
our best to stay on voice notes.
We try to circumvent that as a thing. But yeah, no, I was literally voice memoing Amber the entire plot of this book as it was happening.
Yeah.
And it was actually happening in the way that I was sharing it, which...
No, it literally was.
It was horrible.
You voice noted me yesterday, and I...
Did I? Shit. Did I really?
Yeah. It was like 56 seconds.
I don't remember what it was now. Well, you're like,
I'm trying to remember.
Who knows? This is my life. I like voice memo because it's like too much to say in one like text message. And I'm like, it's just so much easier. But there are people that literally have told me they don't want my voice memos. So
I love them.
I will never stop sending you. Literally, unless someone says, I hate receiving voice memos, you will receive voice memos from me.
Please send me more.
No, I will always.
But I got cozy on my couch. My sister was over while Alex was changing her oil in her car. Yeah. I got cozy. I was like, oh, I got a voice memo from Danielle. Buckle in. And I was like, oh, 56 seconds. I actually was disappointed.
I know, because it was short. It was short.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
It was something quick.
Was it book related? It had to be. I think it was book related.
Let me look.
And I always keep the voice memos. Like,
I
will never go back and listen to it.
Oh, you were going to share something on the pod. Oh, it was the novellas. You are going to share it about the pod.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because
then I sent this picture.
And you're like, you're dumb.
Yeah.
Like, you're so stupid, like, for thinking that. Yeah, so we will cover those. But, yeah, do you want to pop into your
arcs? My quick arc segment. I'm not going to go over all of it. I'm just going to give you the title, where I got it from.
Really quick before you start. So since Amber explained that Ricochet was a DNF, she told me it was a DNF. So I was like, that's a do not start for me. If she's going to DNF, and like, here's the thing. And we kind of like, we're like, let me have you sign up on this. So if you are going into next week's episode expecting that we are going to talk about Ricochet, I don't know if anyone is. We are not going to be talking about Ricochet.
And if you read it and you loved it, I'm so happy for you.
It may be something I come back to at some point, but
so I was like, I'm DNFing. I genuinely, and I'll say this again for the next week's episode, but like, I was just bored. I wasn't excited.
And I've heard that they're not everyone's favorite couple But
see, I loved them in Addicted to You.
No, I did too, but I've heard that people their favorite book of them is their third book and not their second.
Okay,
so that's what people say.
I'm saying I didn't get very far in.
No,
either.
I told Amber, and I made the executive decision because she asked me if I'm not reading it because of her.
But because I texted you and said I can't do this. I'm DNFing, and you said petition to change
the
book to what it is now. Mm-hmm. What we're going to talk about, because there will still be an episode. We're just talking about something different.
Which actually might appeal to more people.
It might actually. It could.
Because we
potentially,
actually,
yes.
And this might be the first episode that
we don't agree.
That we don't agree. And
well, you'll be. I think you might be surprised.
You're gonna get some differing opinions, because almost I would say every book we've read, we've basically rated it the exact same. So
and felt the same way,
which is shocking. So yeah.
But she was like, petition change the book. And I was like, I will only sign this petition if you can answer this question. Are you not reading it because I DNF'd? Because if you're going to read it and we can talk about it on the pod. Or is your choice like, I'm never going to pick this book up? And she was like, I don't think I'm going to pick this book up now. And I said, okay, then let's move on. I'll send a petition.
I only read 5 of the 8 books I had on my like actual physical TBR, not my physical TBR, but like I only read 5 of the books on my TBR, and that was obviously on my TBR, but it was not one of the books I read, obviously, and that's fine. I'm like solid with it. It's been on my TBR for 900 years anyway. So like, what does it matter if it just chills for a little bit longer?
I mean, I'm okay letting this series go. In my opinion, I'm okay letting the series go.
I have other series that are more important to me to get through than this, because if it's taken me this long to get to the second book in a series, I really am struggling.
I think honestly, and this is a me problem because I space things out too far. But if I would have like read Addicted to You and then immediately picked up Ricochet, I think I would have felt different. To be honest, 100%. But from when I read Ricochet at the beginning of last year.
And that's also when I read it.
To now, my reading has changed so much within a year.
I completely agree with you, and we have differing reading styles. I'm a mood reader, but I do believe that had I read it right afterwards, I would have continued. I think I would have been
more engulfed in what was going on,
because people rave about the series. They really do.
Yeah, and I'm honestly,
nothing against the series altogether, because it is a completed series. So if it is something that you're like, I only read completed series, it's complete. So it's a really solid pick, and I would start and go straight through.
Yeah. But for me, I'm not. I don't read like I can't. That's not for me.
No, I can't either, and I think it's also because I read incomplete. I think it's because I read incomplete series as well, because I'm a dumbass.
Well, that and no, you're not a dumbass. It just that's sometimes that you pick up a book and you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
I'm also a mood reader to my core, and it's a very different way to read.
My fear is always if I have like even a completed series or a not completed series. My thing is like, what if I start to hate the writing? What if I start to hate the characters because I'm reading it too much in a row?
Amber's
I want to love it.
Amber's more serious about these things. The one thing is I don't read them because I don't want series to end. And that's my problem is I can't. Yeah. And that's why I waited so long.
The only series I read back to back was the Ravenhood series.
Which I can't.
I'm so glad I did.
But that's one of the reasons I haven't fully dived in yet, because I don't have the capacity at this moment in my life, not my life, in like the year, to read a series back to back like that. Like I don't have it.
My mother-in-law read the Ravenhood series.
Did she?
Yeah. So she accidentally picked up That One Rainy Day.
Oh, and you were like...
And she was like, I'm missing something here. So she did some research, and then she went back and started reading Flock. And then I saw her, and she was like, oh, I'm reading... She had like the Nightingale out for me or whatever. And she's like, oh, I was like, so what are you reading now? She's like, oh, I'm reading The Finish Line by Kate Stewart. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. I was like, thoughts? Because it's one of my favorites. And she's like, I don't know, I'm not really like into this book. And I was like, finish it. You won't regret it. Finish it.
Because it's the third one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, finish it. You won't regret it. And then she texted me like the next day. She's like, I'm so glad. And I said some other things to her about the book. And she was like, I'm so glad that I listened to you and like didn't give up and like finish it. And she's like, now I'm going to go read. She said eventually I'll start reading The Last Rainy Day. But girl, you got to read it.
I'm going to.
I think you need to prepare yourself for possibly a slump and emotional breakdown. That's
why I pulled Flock off my TBR for this month, because I knew I was heading into a time where it's just not going to be good for me when I have to pick up that last Magnolia Parks book and everyone's rating it like infinity stars, and I'm so sickeningly attached to these characters that I know I'm going to like want to just fall over and like roll off my bed and like look at the ground. Like I just like, and I know that that's going to happen. I just like can't like handle like more emotional
You'll know
damage.
when the time is right. Or maybe you'll never pick it up.
Well, I think I will pick it up because I really did enjoy, because I got 16% into the first book, but literally it's like nothing.
Just wait till you get chapter 25.
Well, literally it was like, I think it was like chapter 5. Like I got like nowhere into it.
But I'm just saying wait till you get to chapter 25.
You're like, make a note of that. You'll know. No, but it's the same
thing. Listeners know and they've read it.
But I also definitely want to finish Throne of Glass and I have to
No, finish what you've been working on because you've been working really hard at it.
And I only have 2 Throne of Glass books on my TBR for February, which is the one I'm reading right now, and then Queen of Shadows. And then I get into the tandem, and I can't in good faith put the tandem on my TBR for February. I just physically cannot do it. Like, I know that the chances of me getting there in February are very slim. So it's going to be a March situation. But the good news is once you finish the tandem read, then you just have the last book, which means...
Oh, perfect.
Which that's why I've spaced it the way I have. I was like, okay, if I could knock out 3 books in January, the 2 books in February, and then the tandem and the final book in March, I'll be solid to then start Crescent City in April, which is really great.
Perfect.
There's a lot of planning for me and my mood reader self.
I love that for you.
Love
that.
So
okay.
Arcs.
Arc segment. I started out with Lies Like Rubies Part 2 by Poppy Jacobson. I got it from the Authors Agency. It is available on Kindle Unlimited. I did read Part 1 back in December of last year, and I rated it 4 stars. So this is the Savage Jewels duet. So this is book 2. The tropes are dark romance, why choose, mafia romance, possessive alpha hole, kinky golden retriever, brother's best friend, everybody loves everyone, morally gray, multiple point of view, and trigger warnings. So check those trigger warnings.
What is everybody loves everybody? What does that mean?
Everybody loves everybody.
So everybody, literally exactly what it's like.
Yes.
That's wild. I cannot. Some of these things, these like tropes, I'm like, what does that mean? And then sometimes I don't even go back. I'm just like, I'm not even gonna say anything. With that one, I had never heard before, so I just needed to address that it was exactly what I thought it was.
I mean, that's what the author put on her stuff. Was everyone? Everyone loves everyone. If you get through this book and you get if you sign up for the newsletter and you get the bonus epilogue, you'll know why. I gave this one 4.5 stars, 5 chili peppers, and my quote. Oh yeah. My quote is, "You belong to me. You're a weapon in my hand, and I intend to use you to burn the city to the effing ground."
These are
so good.
Also, the 5 chili peppers.
Well, I had a lot of 5 chili peppers this month.
I had 0 5 chili peppers this month. I'm sure, nope, can't think of any 5 chili. I haven't read a 5. Well, I read a 5 chili peppers there was some 5 chili peppers, just not this month. Not this month was not a 5 chili pepper.
Okay, my next arc was Enchanted Ventures by A.K. Landow. I am a part of her arc team, so she sends me the book. This is also available on KU. This is the last book in the Bells of Broad Street series, so it is complete. It is interconnected standalones, but personally, I recommend that you read them in order. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. The tropes in this book are modern fairy tale retelling, possessive billionaire, fake dating, shared bed, single dad, praise kink, underground fighting, second chance later in life, still Ophelia, raunch-com, and dual point of view. Any questions?
No.
Okay.
I have no questions.
Are you sure?
Yes, because that's you've already talked about the series, so I'm more familiar with these things.
I'll never cherries. I will never look at them, think about them ever the same.
I don't like cherries. So it's fine.
So you're good. You're good with that one.
I'm good because I don't like cherries.
4.5 stars. 5 chili peppers.
5 chili peppers.
And the quote I picked was, "I've never felt more cherished than I do right now. I've spent 44 years dreaming of the way love is supposed to look, but it's never been a reality. Until now, I feel like I'm living in a storybook."
Because a modern fairy tale retelling. Mm-hmm. I do love a modern fairy tale retelling.
I believe that when you are done with your little journey over there that you've got going on, if you pick up an A.K. Landau book, you will never put it down.
I mean, I probably would.
You would really like these books.
You know, it's sometimes the spice is just too much for me.
I think you'd actually really enjoy it.
All right. It'll come on my journey. It'll be in my 33 journey. After I turn 33, then we're gonna start to venture into new things.
I'll get you started.
Okay.
So then, I really want to read the dedication in this book because I've been talking about it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's Cursed Beast. It's right here. Just look how pretty they are.
They're stunning, but I was just gonna say they're so beautiful.
Even on the inside, they're pretty. Like,
Mandy Muse, like, honestly, the book design. I don't know how much you had in the design of these books, but they're stunning.
Pretty. Oh, I wish you guys could see. There you go.
They're beautiful.
It's beautiful. Okay, so I read Her Beasts by Mandy Muse. I got it from the Authors Agency, available on Kindle Unlimited. This is book 3 in the Belladonna and Her Beast series. This is a completed series. If you're new here, I've only talked about them for months.
I literally remember when you were like, "Oh, I'm reading this great arc." I literally not knowing what was about to come. Literally, she's like, "Oh my god, it was we were on a book club, and you're like, oh, yeah. Everyone's like, oh, what?" Like, we go, it's like, "What are we reading?" She's like, "Oh, I'm reading this arc. It's like
Nicole's reading it right now. She's reading Tortured Beast right now.
Like, it's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and like it's just so casual about it. And now it's like
my whole personality.
It's a personality trait. So like, no, it's like that TikTok sound. So this is about to become my personality for the rest of my life.
So on Mandy Muse's Facebook group page, her person that runs it did this "Oh, you've been kidnapped, but they return you after 2 hours because you've talked about what?" And I literally said this series, or I had all the questions about are you going to do this and this to me based off what I've already read in mafia romances. Because this literally is my whole personality.
It literally is.
But I've been talking about this dedication since last month, but I just wanted to read it out loud. It says, "To finding your own fairy tale, whether it's in a man, a woman, multiple partners, by yourself, or 3 beasts in your dreams. Do what makes you happy and F the world."
And it made you cry.
It made me cry. Getting emotional again.
Here we are.
Okay. So the tropes are MMFMY choose, primal, breeding kink, paranormal romance, forced proximity, enemies to lovers, touch her and die, found family. It's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, or a reimagined a Beauty and the Beast, and multiple point of view. 5 stars, 5 chili peppers, made me cry.
No notes.
Literally the best ending. I'm going to miss these characters terribly. But I'm very excited to see what
she
happens
does
next. Yeah. A.K. Landow is jumping into sports, and I'm ecstatic.
You're like, I'm here for it.
I'm ecstatic.
I was wondering if you were going to do that.
It was bothering me. And the quote from Her Beast is, "Each of them made my life, but Katarina was the moonlight showing me the way." Okay, I'm going to start over. "Each of them made my life, but Katarina was the moonlight showing me the way home because I had been in the dark for too long." Oh, God, so good. No, just the epilogue was perfect. Just the end. I could not have imagined a better ending to this series.
Well,
honestly.
That's the way that you want to go out.
Yes, and it just... chef's kiss. Okay, so the next one was A Love Like Venom by Analee, Giancoala, Authors Agency. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. This is book 1 in a Vipers Motorcycle Club series. I'm in my motorcycle club era right now. I've got a few going.
I haven't. Charlotte asked when she can ride a motorcycle, and I
love that for her.
I go, no. I go, that's okay. I said, no.
That's an Eloise thing.
I said, that's a 5. You're 5. Here's the difference. Eloise is the one who, but Charlotte literally is no holds barred on certain. She's like, I'm gonna do all of the things that I feel like I deserve to do
I hope
in
she
my
does.
life.
I hope she does.
You're like, I'll definitely let her do that.
I don't know about all that, but
You're,
I'll stand there and go, yay!
it's not going to be me. Not going to be me.
I'll be the one covering Danielle's eyes.
No, I won't. Absolutely not.
Okay, so the tropes for a love like Venom: motorcycle romance, emotional scar, childhood friends to hating each other to lovers, bully revenge, tortured past, siblings ex, touch her and die, dual point of view, and please check trigger warnings. So, like, reading the Motorcycle Club book series by Mackenzie Fox.
Yes.
That is very, like, light. And
That one is light.
I think so.
It's lighter.
Yeah, it's lighter than I think this is. But so good. 5 stars, 4 chili peppers. This book took me by surprise, honestly. And you know Kaneki from Grease?
Yes.
The guy on the cover, like, he gives me those vibes.
Okay. The cool guy vibes.
Yeah, like...
Devil may care.
Yeah. Okay, so quote, maybe this is what the stars had planned for us all along. Maybe this is our fate. The both of us were born in tragedy. It would only be fitting for our deaths to be the same.
That's very heavy.
The book was heavy, but it was deliciously good.
Deliciously good, you guys.
Yes. Okay, so next one was Seeds of Malice by Maggie Cole. I got this from the Authors Agency. Book 1 in the Wilted Kingdom duet. Like I said earlier, I'm reading the second one in the duet. The tropes: bully romance, dark romance, college romance, bully to lover, forbidden love, morally gray, first love, opposites attract, good girl versus bad boy, forced proximity, taboo, and dual point of view. Please check trigger warnings before you dive in to this series book, all the things. The author, like, she writes this, like, beautiful note in the beginning of the book about how, like, this is what to expect as triggers, and if these aren't for you, please do not continue on. And then she's like, I really hope that you enjoy this book, or don't. It's up to you. And, like, that's how she ends it. It's really cute. But loved it. 4 stars, 5 chili peppers. In this book, like, I don't think I've ever disliked the male main character right off the bat.
Really?
Really. But, like, 2 chapters later, be madly in love with him.
Oh.
So like explain that to me. Yeah.
You're, like, short-lived.
So that's never, like, happened to me. So that was, like, different. And, like, this book, like, really shook me. I was very surprised on what happened and, like, how it happened. But you could tell, like, you're never going to pick this book up. So, like, you could tell.
You're like,
it's not for Danielle. Like,
not.
Sometimes I try to find books that Danielle, like, I'm like, girl, you should read these.
Yeah.
But not all of those books that I read will be Danielle's fit. Yes. And that's fine. And that's why we're love it here.
For it.
But you could really tell when he was playing the game and when he wasn't, based off the way he was saying things.
Interesting.
It's too explicit to, like, say it on the pod.
And that's saying
so,
a lot.
Like, I'm not going to say, like, some of the things that he was saying, but I'll tell you off pod, but if you were really that curious. But you could tell the difference, and I think that's one of the reasons why, like, I hated him, because, like, right off the bat he's playing the game. So the way he's, like, talking to her and the things that he's saying to her are so jarring.
Oh, like, very unexpected.
Yeah, and even like, it makes her a little uncomfortable until she gets kind of used to it. But then when he's talking to her, you can tell when he's like, no, I really love this girl. Mm-hmm. And you can really tell those things, like, even with his, like, internal thoughts that he's, like,
okay,
from his POV.
The juxtaposition was just a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so the quote, though, was, he kisses me with the same hunger I feel for him. I'm soon falling back into the web of everything Dax Carrington. And that is all the arcs for this month. So I hope you liked those or want to know more. Or you can always check out
The notes
on, or my reviews, my physical reviews that have all my thoughts, the blurbs, all the things. On my Instagram page at Sisters Who Book.
Yes. Real quick.
Yeah.
We can touch on the novellas because I feel
yes, please.
This is the time.
Speaking of novellas, I started the Jacksonville Rays series, Pucking Around. So I read the novella for that.
Yes.
That was exciting. That One Night by Emily Rath. Loved it. I can't wait to talk about Pucking Around with you.
That's the next
for
episode.
the next episode. I just wanted to
No, I really do love that novella. Speaking of novellas, I really do love that one. So, if you've been seeing all over Book Talk or on Bookstagram or on Amazon, they're pushing these 6 novellas called The Improbable Meet Cute. And it's 6 romance authors who have all written like a separate novella. They're not interconnected by any means, but I read them all for specifically for the purpose of rating them, because I feel like even with novellas, I can't rate novellas the same thing as I rate normal books. Because
I feel like novellas you have to rate for what they are.
Exactly.
Because they're maybe 150 pages, maybe 120.
No, these were there wasn't one over 100.
Oh, okay.
So these are very
So you're
easy.
looking at like 100 less.
And they're palate cleansers. To
Absolutely.
say the very least, these are palate cleansers, and you have to take them for what they are. But if you are looking for little Valentines, because they're all Valentine's Day themed.
Love.
Which is super cute. We're looking at Christina Lauren, Abby Jimenez, Sally Thorne, Jasmine Guillory. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Ashley Poston and Soraya Wilson. So I have read 4 of those authors, Christina Lauren, Abby Jimenez, Sally Thorne, and Ashley Poston. I've heard of the other 2 authors. I've never read anything by them. So the thoughts that I have are specifically based on these novellas, and it does not reflect necessarily their writing as a whole, because I believe that they're obviously popular authors for a reason, because people do enjoy their books. So if we were I'm going to rank them in terms of like yes, no, whatever, but like in the rankings of what I believe that they should be, taken as. So my favorite one was Abby Jimenez, The Worst Wingman Ever. And like I said, they're all Valentine's Day themed. Dual POV, fun side characters, letters, which is very Abby Jimenez. If you've ever read any of her books, she's very loves to tell romance stories through letters. And I really love that. I rated that one 4.5 stars. That's my top one that I think that was worth reading. I think that was 105 pages or something. It was not very long, literally. The second one that I ranked as, again, 4.5 stars, I just liked it just a smidge less because it was not dual POV, or it was technically dual POV, and it was Christina Lauren's The Exception to the Rule, and it was told mostly through emails, which is very I used to love reading books in middle school and high school that were told through emails. It was very fun for me. Emails are dual POV.
Thinking about emails, it brings me the romance piece, or the banter that's fun and lively happens always through text message and
Absolutely.
or emails, it brings me back to 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's one of my favorite things about that book.
The banter was A+ between the emails. And it was basically the book started with their improbable meet cute, which my voice moment to Amber yesterday was me saying, why are they all meeting in the weirdest ways? And it was literally, the series is called The Improbable Meet Cute. So
she sends me this voice note to tell me, she's like, I'm probably going to talk about this on the pod, but I really want to share with you first, is that I'm reading these novellas that are just all of them are just like insane meet cute situations, and then not me realizing that it literally is written in the title of these novellas is the improbable meet cute. And I was like, please share with the class. Please share with the class.
Because it's so I'm like sitting there, I'm like, oh, these are so insane. Like, but again, this one basically starts with, and it happens the first time, is the guy sends an email thinking it's to his teacher in high school when it's actually to another student. And so then it was on Valentine's Day. So it takes place from Valentine's Day 2014. And so it like goes through every year. And I just love that. The banter was amazing. I loved it was kicking your legs cute. Like you just like really just like enjoyed there.
I love that.
And I like loved the twist. There was a cute little
twist
in there.
Those are like right up your alley.
No, loved. So the next one is that I would rank as third was Ashley Poston's With Any Luck. Basically unlucky in love, bachelorette party. It was a maid of, how do I say this? A best man, which was the girl, and a man of honor, which was the guy. And so it was like their like
opposite.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it's like Good Luck Chuck. There's lots of like pop culture references.
Yeah.
It was spicy, just a smidge. Past and present POV, like going back like the night before, like hangover vibes. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I think I rated it maybe like 4 stars. I didn't put the rating on here, but I think it was like 4. I would say it's like 4 stars. It was solid. It was a good one. I enjoyed it. Again, these were short. I think that was like 70 pages. The next one was called Royal Valentine. Like I said, next one was not Royal Valentine that I ranked. Next one was Sally Thorne's Rosie and the Dreamboat. And Sally Thorne is known for The Hating Game. So
excellent movie.
Terrible exactly what I was going to say. Single POV, sisters go to a spa on Valentine's Day, and Rosie gets locked in the float tank and has a romance with the firefighter trying to get her out. Swear to God, could not.
That is fantastic.
And so it's very odd. It was just a very odd like whole thing because their banter is like happening while he's like sitting outside the float tank where she's like locked in it. It's like a whole thing. I rated it 3.5 stars. It's like, again, these are where now we start to get into like, is it really worth it? No, it was like 40 pages long. It was, I mean, if you're like really like looking for something to add to your like,
I think they're just like fun. Like,
no, they're supposed to be fun. But yeah. The next one was,
love it,
called Royal Valentine by Soraya Wilson. Very like Princess Switch, Lizzie McGuire vibes. In Rome, she's a princess. She accidentally drugs herself, falls asleep on the Spanish steps. I'm telling you, they're insane. They're insane.
Accidentally drugged
She like
herself?
takes all this like these sleeping pills, and so this guy like finds her on the like Spanish steps and like takes her home because he's like very like he's like concerned like that she's like gonna get like kidnapped or whatever. She thinks she's getting kidnapped. I was bored. It was I think the longest one. I was just bored throughout the thing, and I was kind of like not really rooting for them. It was predictable. Also, is the second male main character within the 6 series. It's named Callum, which is such an odd name. So, like, I don't know if they didn't like consult with each other about the names that they were going to use on these books because it's like very weird that it's like, the second male main character named Callum. So that was it's just an odd little thing. I would say 3 stars. Not anything to write. Like if you love like the like princess like kind of like vibes, royal vibe. It was cute. It was fine, but like just boring for me because it's just not my vibe. The final one, Drop, Cover, and Hold On by Jasmine Guillory. I've never read her before. I've heard a lot of people really love her. Grumpy Sunshine, very cringy. Very there was an earthquake. There was a lot of there was like you almost felt like the romance was between, so it was like a girl and like a baker, and you almost felt like the romance was more between like her and the food he baked than him, and it was like the text,
I only love you because of your food.
It was very weird. It's very insta love. Obviously it was like 40 pages long. There was like, I don't know, it was very cringy. The text was very cringy. I really hope the rest of her books aren't like this because there was just a lot of things I was just like,
I think that maybe you should pick one of them up and let us know.
Because honestly, because I rated like 2.5 stars, maybe. It was like very.
Well, I mean, again, with novellas, you're you're not rating it like a typical
No, but I'm telling
book. You're rating it for what it is.
That one had some spice in it, and it was very like unhinged. Like it just came out of nowhere. So yeah, I would recommend the first 3 for sure. I think they were fun. If you need palate cleansers, you want something fun to pick up, like add to your reading count, like totally would recommend. And they were the 3, honestly, that I would have expected because they're 3 authors that I love. So I would have expected to enjoy their little like fun like quips and banter and like whatever. It was fun. Other 3 I would not recommend, but like again, might be your taste. I don't know. If you want to, I don't think you don't need to read them all. Like it's not like they're like interconnected by any means, but they were fun. I just wanted to do that for the pod and like. I mean, I was doing it more for
Thank you for
myself.
doing it for the pod.
For the pod. Yeah, so it was just very weird. But again, they're called the Improbable Meet Cute, so just know going into it, like, the ways that these people are meeting is very, very bizarre.
And
so.
you love a meet cute. Like, I love a meet cute, but
I
like,
love a meet
cute.
Yeah, the first meet cute, the Abby Jimenez one, which I loved the most, she met him because he was putting a note on his brother's girlfriend's car for Valentine's Day with a sex coupon, and he put it on the wrong girl's car. And so then it like starts these letters like of him having to go back and find this car, and like it was cute. I really enjoyed that one, but I also like really enjoy Abby Jimenez as a writer, and I love that she included the letter aspect, which she typically does in her books, which I just love. Again, the emails, the letter, like I just love I love a little writing situation.
I love that.
But again, like you said, it's like a 50 Shades of Grey kind of vibe. I mean,
I love
we love that.
Like, it's amazing.
So,
I have a hot take though. I want to talk about something that I forgot to talk about last time because we were talking about book merchandise.
Yes.
So because now I'm on this like clear case Kindle, now I have stickers, all the things. My only permanent sticker is our Tropes and Tantrums sticker. Yes. I took it off and stuck that sucker on there. My only gripe is, I mean, and I can't, maybe I am the only person in the world who doesn't drink coffee.
You are. I think you are, but that's fine.
But like, why does everything have to go with coffee? Like, why can't it go with like your emotional support water?
So I actually,
or a McDonald's crisp Coke.
So I have, one of my stickers actually has a Stanley, a Coke, and then like something like a mug or something, and it literally says like thirsty bitch, and like so it doesn't have like there's no coffee on that one, but I think they do exist. They're just not as plentiful.
I need them to be plentiful,
or just I'll make them myself, and you just order them. Literally, I'm dead serious. I can literally order them. We can just design the ones we want.
But I just like I was thinking about that because now like I'm on this like I'm looking at new stickers and things like that.
And stickers are not cheap.
No. And or like other things. I'm like, oh, but I don't drink coffee. Like I drink a McDonald's crisp Coke or a water.
As everyone.
Oh, I leave here every Sunday and go get a McDonald's Coke.
There is nothing.
No, I'm not even joking.
There is nothing like the way that a McDonald's crisp Coke hits. Like when you're like, oh my God, this was it.
Yeah. No, when you take that and that first sip
and it's like, oh.
And you like feel it running through your veins and you're like, ooh, my day just got 10 times better.
It's true.
So yesterday, Alex finished with my sister's car and she was like finishing getting ready for work. And he's like, hey, I'm going to, drive your car around the block. And he's like, actually, you know what? I'm going to take it to the gas station because I have to get something at the gas station. So my sister was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. He was like, do you guys want anything? And my sister was like, well, do you mind grabbing me a Dr. Pepper? And he was like, of course not. And I was like, oh, will you grab me a Coke? And he's like, so I'm also going by McDonald's. And I was like, if that's what your heart tells you to do, yes. And he's like, but every time I go get you a gas station Coke, you like hate it. And I was like, okay, but if your heart tells you that maybe you should go to McDonald's and get that Coke, then maybe you should. He goes, we'll see. And I said, okay, so I fully expected to him walk through the door with a McDonald's crisp Coke.
And he did not?
No, I was shocked that he did not.
Oh my gosh.
So I drank janky gas station Coke that tasted like garbage. Literally every time I took a sip, I was like, oh. But I just wanted to prove to him that I would drink it, and I did. But it was rough. It was rough out there, guys.
I'm telling you. So I know that, like, whatever. People think that this is like a myth. I fully will die on this hill. The McDonald's Coke is not the same.
No, it's not. It comes from it comes from an actual keg.
There's a special formula that only McDonald's has with the syrup recipe is very different.
Facts.
My one gripe about McDonald's Coke, one gripe, and it has nothing to do with the actual Coke itself.
Oh.
The cup. I want the styrofoam cup of
like
Chick-fil-A
Sonic.
or Sonic, yes. I want that at McDonald's. I don't know if it's more expensive and that's why they don't do it. I don't give a shit.
I want it just for the Coke. I don't care if you give it to anybody else. If you order a McDonald's Coke, you're getting a styrofoam cup. That's what the rule should be.
I want it to last
and
longer.
It should come with a medium fry.
And I always. And I don't, because I don't want it to get the condensation on the outside. I don't want it. And I
want it all day.
I literally, it makes me sad. So
I want it to last me
all day.
Yeah.
Like
100%. Like Coke from Sonic. Granted, it doesn't hit the same.
No, it doesn't.
But
I only get cherry Coke from Sonic because
ooh, that's a good one.
And I only will drink cherry Coke from Sonic because of the syrup and the.
You know what's good with a cherry Coke? A Jimmy John sandwich.
Oh, I don't like sandwiches.
Oh,
I don't like sandwiches at all.
What?
I don't think I've ever eaten a sandwich in my life.
Not even like a peanut butter and jelly.
No, I knew that's where you were going to go with that. Absolutely not. No grilled cheese. Nothing. Literally nothing.
Stop it. A BLT?
Never. I don't like bacon, tomato, or lettuce. So what would you think I would want them all stacked up? I literally don't. I am the pickiest eater you will ever meet.
No, you've never met Dallas.
No, I promise.
Okay, sorry. You've never eaten with Dallas.
That's okay.
Dallas just actually started Snaps for Dallas. He will eat a cheeseburger.
But I don't like cheeseburgers, so I will not eat a cheeseburger. So here's the thing. Dallas is also 4. I am 32. So that's where I have a little bit on Dallas just based on that fact alone.
That is insane. I didn't eat my first cheeseburger until I was 17. And that was because the doctor was like, either you step up your protein game and gain some weight, or you are going to be lost in a world of athletes that you will no longer be a part of because you will make your body sick.
I will not start on the podcast about all the things I will not eat because the list is sincerely too long. But I would shock you. I would shock you at the things that I do not eat. Literally hardly
That's
anything.
Crazy.
People are like, oh my God, I don't love trying new things. I will stick with the things that I love and I'm solid with it. I've lived my whole life.
I can be like that too.
I would live my whole life. I would
restaurants.
live my whole life that way. And I'm fine with it. I'm really solid with it. And people are really I think it really disturbs other people more than it, I'm I live my whole life like this. I have one child who's a picky eater. Charlotte is textbook me. And that is I'm not going to make you feel guilty about the way that you feel, the way you eat, because people make me feel like shit all the time. And they're like, oh my God, I'm like, shut up. It's not your body. If I'm fine,
but
chill.
If you're fine, and if there's no concern, with a doctor or anything, girl, do you.
But and I have, I said, I have Charlotte who eats the same way I eat, whatever. And it really, again, bothers people. Again, I can't care. Eloise, who eats anything and everything it literally is 20 pounds and literally just eats food like nobody's business. And that's just
Charlie.
She just, and it's fine. And they were
raised
raised
a rocky point and Charlie's picking out raw onion out of the pico de gallo.
No, literally, literally Eloise is just Eloise does eat the raw tomatoes out of salsa, and she also will eat just lettuce, pieces of lettuce from people's salads. It's just very bizarre. But here's the thing, not gonna say anything. She did it raised by the same humans, come from the same humans, just completely different people.
That's when people, I'll be like, oh, Dallas is being funny again and he's sleeping on his floor. They're like, shouldn't he be in his bed? And it's he's asleep. I'm not touching him.
No,
I don't care where the kid sleeps as long as he's asleep in his room, not mine.
When you are parents,
you take your wins.
You take your wins. And there are certain things you will fight for. And most things you will not. Because honestly, they're either number one going to grow out of it, or they just like, you just don't even care.
No, they'll grow out of it eventually. Or you just live with
caring,
it.
and
yeah,
like it's
just
fine.
like it is what it is. As long as they're fueling their body the way that they need it, then that's fine. And I hope I didn't make you feel bad about being a picky eater. Like
God,
I feel terrible
stop.
now.
No.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I'm talking about people.
Please tell me if I do.
I will tell this story one time because it really like fires me up. So I got a lot of shit when I was pregnant with Shar, because I eat the way I do. And I had very hard pregnancies both times where I couldn't keep food down because I was so sick. So with Shar, I had finally turned the corner at around 20 weeks where I could start like eating food. Like, and I'm like, I was living off of like, I'm talking Eggo waffles and like.
When I was pregnant with Dallas, I ate a whole box of Eggo waffles in a day. And Alex was like, that's disgusting.
No, and it's literally.
I can't eat an Eggo waffle now to save my life. I can't.
Don't know. And there are certain things. It's very funny because certain things I like TV shows, music make me nauseous. Because
that's wild.
Because I was so like this. I was just talking to my cousin the other day because when I was pregnant with Eloise, which I was sick from 4 weeks, until literally throwing up in labor. And it was during 2020, so I was literally
Guys Crushing Games.
How, did I tell you that?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, oh my god, I was like, is that like is that a universal
No.
experience? I was like, did I? Like, I know we have a lot of things in common, but like,
you've told me that.
No, but I told you that the other.
I always think it's funny because Dallas loves Guys Grocery Games, so we watch it religiously. Like we record it for every Wednesday. I can't. And the other day he was like, I'm gonna have lunch now, and I was like, okay, what do you want for lunch? And he was like, I don't know, but I'm also going to watch Guys Grocery Games. And in my head, I was laughing because I was like, Danielle would not like that. Like, I don't know why that popped in my head that way, but I was like, Danielle would be like, no, we're not watching that.
No, I literally, and there was, like I said, during 2020, I was watching that religiously at my mom's house because I was like, that was where, because she was watching Shar, and she also had Trader Joe's fried rice in the freezer. And so I was thinking, like, I felt good one day. And so I made it. So she, like, made it for me because I was like, okay, I think I can have it. No.
So no more fried rice.
I opened her freezer this past weekend. And there's the Trader Joe's fried rice in the, like, frozen.
Instant.
I'm like, I'm like, oh my God. And I literally had to close it. I was like, I can't. I was like, I can't look at it. But like, that's like how visceral, like certain things. It's so, Reputation, New Year's Day, the song, I can't listen to it because it makes me nauseous because I was pregnant with Shar when Reputation was on repeat.
Yeah.
And New Year's Day is one of the songs I cannot listen to it.
You were pregnant with Shar when you went to Reputation tour.
Correct. Yes. So it makes me nauseous. But so when I'm saying when I was pregnant with Shar, I had finally around 20 weeks taken the turn to like where I could like actually start eating food. And I was going to Nashville for a work trip. So Nashville, very different climate than Arizona. So
the humidity
got and I was so tiny because I had lost weight. I lost like 12 pounds. So like, I wasn't like, I didn't have like a bump by any stretch of the imagination. But when I was there, I got really swollen because like the humidity like really with my body. So we were in the airport. Mark my word, we were in the airport coming home. And I was, at this point, I was like ready to be home because I was just tired. Like I had gotten swollen. I was over
Trips like that can be rough. Well,
and I was sitting in conferences for like 8 hours a day, like sitting. And so like, I was like having to get up a lot. Like it was just a lot of my body. So I wasn't working for like a good stretch of time before that because I couldn't go to work because I'd be so sick.
Yeah.
So I go on this trip, whatever. And so I'm in the airport, in the Nashville airport, and they have Burger King in the airport. And I live for a Burger King onion ring.
Girl.
Amazing. Life-changing. Don't like their Coke. Literally at all. It tastes weird as shit. But a Burger King onion ring, I will down. So I was like, okay, like I really, like I need this onion ring. So everybody I was traveling with was in the bar, in like an airport bar, whatever, drinking. Obviously, I cannot drink, so I'm going to Burger King.
Yeah.
So I come back with my Burger King bag. I'm like snacking on got my Coke, got me snacking on my whatever. And so the people I was with were giving me shit, and they're like, that's like really like bad for, like, you shouldn't be like having stuff like that, like when you're pregnant, like it's like really bad for your baby. And I'm like,
mind your business.
So I'm upset because like I said, I was ready to go home. I'd been there for like 5 or 6 days.
Yeah.
I'm in the airport. I'm like finally like eating food because this was like the first trip. Like I was actually like, trying to like eat food, and I was very triggered by the whole experience because then the bartender, this like college girl, like 19, 20 years old, like was like, I have a problem like eating healthy too. Like you should really try and like get better about it. Like you don't have to like just like get fast food. And she says this random fucking girl. And I'm like,
mind your business.
I'm literally pregnant and I haven't eaten like really like a lot of food.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have not a single idea. And I like lost it on this girl. And like, for me to lose it on anyone is a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
and
but when you're talking to a pregnant woman, and one, you might not know they're pregnant, and talking to them about food.
No. Food is the only time I ever like cried when I was pregnant with Char. I was like always triggered by food. I literally threw the bag out and I like called Vance and like was crying on the phone. Like because I was so upset and just like ready to go home because I was like, I'm pregnant. I wanted these onion rings and I threw the onion rings out because now these people made me feel bad. Like a bunch of people made me feel bad. I felt like absolute shit. And I like was like, I remember I was texting him in the line to board and I was like, I just need to be home. I said, I'm so sick of being here.
Please give me onion rings.
Literally, like when I see you, if you do not have onion rings, I will die.
And don't judge me.
No, but literally it's just wild. So it's like,
that's crazy.
It's stuff like that like, that's what triggers me. It's less that people like have the opinion. It's more that people are like shocked by it is like totally fine. But it's the way that I'm like, just people shut up.
Yeah.
Like shut up. Like it's none of your business.
It's
like,
not your business. It's not your body. You worry about yourself.
Literally fine. It's the same thing with the McDonald's thing though. But people are like, oh my God, you eat dream. Shut up.
You don't know
You are
my
an
life.
embarrassing like if you do not understand the joy that a McDonald's Crispy Coke brings someone,
then
you are sad. Oh my God. Like through your veins. Amazing.
So there was a point in my pregnancy with Dallas. This one from Books to Pregnancy, and I love it. There's a point in my pregnancy with Dallas where I got an aversion to bread.
Oh my God.
But I wanted a peanut butter and jelly. So you know what I put it on? A tortilla. I made a peanut butter and jelly quesadilla, and I thought it was the best thing I've ever done in my whole life. I had that thing, and I was eating it, and Alex was like, what? And I was like, don't ask questions I don't have answers to.
No.
But my other thing I loved was Top Ramen when I was like sick all the time. Top Ramen, a grilled cheese and a side of ranch.
You're like, this is
and
peak.
Just my sandwich and he's like, that's disgusting. And I was like, mind your business. Mind your business. And now my son dips quesadillas in ranch or ketchup. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. He's eating. I don't care.
No.
I don't care.
No, you can't care. And I think that when you're pregnant, especially if you have any sort of aversions or like if you get not like, it's just, I think it's the wild, like like I said, there are things that trigger me more than food, and it's like just the space that I was in mentally, I think triggers me way more. Just like the guys' grocery games when I was pregnant with Charlotte, like I said, it's New Year's Day on Reputation, not the rest of Reputation, only New Year's Day.
That
still makes me nauseous. So I'm really praying that we get the re-record really soon, so that maybe we can like reverse that, and then I can listen to the re-record and it's like it sounds different and it like doesn't fuck with my brain.
Absolutely.
Because I literally used to walk in my house. There was when I was pregnant with Charlotte, there was a Glade plug-in that I guess had been plugged in from I don't know when. And I would walk in the house when I was pregnant with Charlotte and immediately have to run through the house because the smell would immediately make me want to throw up. And it was so bad. And Vance could never smell it. And he never knew. He was like, this
is insane. So when I was pregnant with Dallas, it was the same day we were going to be telling like his mom and stepdad that we were pregnant. We went to the football game at Hamilton because his little sister was like doing like the little husky thing.
Yeah.
And so we went to that, sweating, uncomfortable, crammed into the stands at the football game. I'm like popping peppermint and ginger, trying not to throw up. Yeah. We go to dinner at like, it's one of like the hamburger places, like kind of down the street more towards Chandler Heights. And so we go to dinner. We're sitting there. We're having dinner. No big deal. I'm not feeling nauseous. Nothing. Then somebody like walks by, and I was like, ugh.
You're like,
and my mother-in-law sitting across from me goes, "What's wrong?" And I was like, somebody did not put deodorant on. Like, that was awful. Like, someone has really bad BO. And she was like, "Oh, I didn't smell it." And I was like, "Well, you're lucky. Maybe it was just over on this side of the table." Didn't think anything of it, right? We get to her house. We're sitting there, and Alex are like, "Okay, we have something to tell you, blah, blah, blah." We hand her the gift. She opens it. It's a bunch of onesies, whatever, in a pregnancy test. And
I'm glad that we all did that the same way. I'm glad that in that time frame we were all very creative.
She was like crying, and it was like a whole thing. Yeah. And then she was like, "Wait, that's why you could smell it and I couldn't."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it." So when you were like, you could smell it, but Vance couldn't. That's why. But then I had the opposite happen with my mom. We did the whole same thing with my parents.
Yeah.
My parents were like, "Okay, we knew." And I was like, "What do you mean you knew?" Mom's like, "It was written all over your face when you came home from Kansas from your trip. We knew you were pregnant." We're like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, you'll know one day." Like, that's insane.
No, it's very funny because now I feel like, and I know that this isn't like true like across the board, and I don't know if you're gonna say yes, but like,
watch me say yes.
No, I know. Before friends tell me that they're pregnant, I will know.
My friend Ashley is like that.
I will know. Like, I'm like,
she knew I was pregnant with Charlie when I was hiding it. We all went to dinner. We tried to get it's a group of girls that I'm in a book club with, actually. Before we started our book club, we were all coworkers.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, that's we would just go to like dinners and brunches and things like that. But it got to anyway. So one of the times we went to, oh gosh, it's out in Scottsdale. It's like nautical theme.
I have no idea.
I can't even think of the name of the restaurant right now, but we all went. I had just found out that I was pregnant with Charlie, and I was kind of like in that bloated, but I was actually kind of showing because that was my second. And it was like I was showing.
And when you
have
pregnancies close together, I feel like it happens a lot faster.
Yeah. So I was in like this like dress, but it was like sat weird. So like you didn't really know, but like well, we were standing there waiting for everybody else, and she just goes, "Can I ask you something?" And I was like, "Of course you can." And I'm the oldest person in our group of friends, that group of friends. Like, I'm the oldest out of all of them. They're all like in their late 20s and like mid 20s kind of thing. And we're standing there. She's like, "Can I ask you something?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." And she goes, "Are you pregnant?" And I go, "Yeah, shut your mouth." And you're like, I was like, "Yeah, don't tell anybody."
That is so
I was like, "How did you know that?" She's like, I could see it on you that you're pregnant." And I was like, "Oh my gosh."
No, literally, one of my best friends, before she was pregnant with her first, we had gone to what's it called? It was like right around Christmas, and we had gone to like exchange gifts and whatever at Starbucks. And I was like, she's like definitely pregnant. But like, you can't
you don't ask.
You don't ask. Like, when you're like, I think when you reach a certain age, like, you just like can't. Like, it's like you just feel weird asking because you're like, what if like whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, she's like definitely pregnant. Like, she's like, I don't know. Like, I just feel it.
Yeah.
And then she told me like 2 weeks later, because I was like, I was like, I knew. And she was like, I hadn't even taken a test yet. She goes, I took a test 2 days later. I said, I swear to you, I just knew. And like, I just feel like when you're around people, like, because even my cousin, it just happened. We were together, and she was like a little bit off, and I was like, I think she's pregnant. But like, she was like, we're not like, she was like in that, like, we're not trying yet, like, but we're gonna try. And like, you just kind of like, kind of have feeling. And I just feel like that's such a, like,
I think sometimes people just like have that innate gift, right? Like, to know that, like, they look at you and you're like, there's an aura about you that like
there's
you're pregnant. Yeah. But I think like after like you've been pregnant and you kind of like know like body signs and like things like that, you can like kind of see it on people.
Yeah. even like online, you can start to see it on people. Like you're just like, I don't know.
Oh, she's pregnant.
Or like they haven't like posted in a really long time and you're like, oh, you're definitely pregnant because you're like tired as fuck.
Yeah.
And so you like literally can't get online. No, 100%. I think it's just a thing. And it's like.
That's crazy.
No, but this really went off the rails. That's fine.
This is our MO, but I love it.
It's so good. No, but 100%. It's like just a thing. And then, yeah.
All right. Well, that is it. Also, we have decided.
Joint decided that we are not going to be buddy reading this month. So we apologize if you always look forward to those things. This month we are not. We will find something to talk about for a third episode. I promise.
We promise. Like, that's life. Like, we just will. It just, after like the whole DNF thing, like we're just gonna kind of like regroup, figure out what we're gonna do. We are gonna stick with our March plan. If you've listened to December episode, like this January episodes, then you know that we are gonna do the March thing.
I have an idea. We could take the book club book that we're reading for our book club and talk about that, since we're both reading it anyway.
We could. Let's do that.
Yeah.
What are we reading?
A Love Letter to Whiskey.
Oh, yeah, by Candy Steiner.
Yeah. So if you want to read A Love Letter to Whiskey in the month of February, we'll talk about that in March, because
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, because we're both reading it anyway, and
we'll talk about it. I think that we should talk about it. I think that's a great idea. There you go. Now, if you're buddy reading, now you're reading with our book club. Congratulations.
If you made it this far in the episode,
welcome to the book club. But don't tell France.
Don't tell France, and you can't actually come on the Zooms. So this is like the Zooms, but like not really, because you're missing out on France's iPad going bananas and
giving us the thumbs up,
zooming and weird shit.
No, but I mean, this is pretty much book club.
Yeah,
I mean, we could have Nicole on.
It's true. We can.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, then if you want a buddy read, we are going to be read Love Letters to Whiskey by Candy Steiner, which I'm very excited about. I have read her stuff before and I love it.
I have not, but I'm excited.
I read The Blind Side.
I've heard amazing things about this book, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So thank you for listening. This was unhinged, as always. We did get books
all the way through, up until like an hour. So
you know what? You got what you came for.
You did, and more.
And more. But please follow us on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're not following us on Instagram, we are at Tropes and Tantrums. Please follow.
And you can keep up with our current reads.
Yep. And we hope you have a great February, and we will talk soon. Happy reading.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in today to Tropes and Tantrums. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. And don't forget, happy reading.